E-Verify has been promoted as a tool that will help keep unauthorized workers in the United States from working. And we were talking before is that without knowledge about these programs, it's very easy to find support for them. So what has polling found in general about E-Verify specifically?
Yeah, well, before the Reason-Rupe poll, almost every poll found that Americans love the idea of E-Verify. But who doesn't like the idea that people who work in this country have the authorization to do so? I mean, a few people think that it shouldn't matter, but most people like the idea. They like the idea. The question is about how you implement that in practice and how you actually, what the laws look like. And so we asked people about E-Verify and the benefits and the costs associated. And when you first ask about E-Verify as a benefits-only proposition, Americans overwhelmingly support it. What a great idea, they say. But then when you follow up and ask them if they would support or oppose E-Verify in the presence of some costs, then attitudes change. We first asked about whether or not people would support or oppose E-Verify if their own name had to be included in the database. Opposition did increase, but a majority still support. This is where we saw a major shift. When people learn that business owners will have to pay the cost of verifying each applicant, which could cost anywhere from maybe $90 to $150 per person, then Americans oppose this kind of system. What they don't like is shifting the cost of border enforcement to the private sector, to private enterprise. Why are small businesses paying the cost of one of the few things that the federal government is supposed to be doing, which is enforcing the border? And what was particularly interesting is that even Americans who felt that immigrants hurt the economy, take jobs away, and support deportation, even those Americans oppose E-Verify when they learn of the cost to small business. And what this demonstrates is that you don't necessarily have to win the debate about whether or not immigrants help the economy, whether or not they take your jobs. But when you look at the costs and how it affects everyday businesses, everyday Americans, you can convince people that an E-Verify might not be the best course of action.
Alex Newrasta here at the Cato Institute has talked a lot about immigration reform, and he's made it very clear that what we need to do is have a particular eye toward future flows of immigrants and not just worry about those who are here illegally and trying to come up with a just way of dealing with people who came here illegally. What do Americans generally think about that?
Well, this is a really interesting question. We find that a majority of Americans support reform for unauthorized immigrants, but when it comes to actually simplifying the system of legal immigration, how to deal with future immigration, there isn't a consensus, and Americans are fairly evenly divided about whether or not we raise visa caps for high-skilled workers or for low-skilled workers. Americans are unaware of how difficult it is for a low-skilled worker to come into the country legally, even temporarily. And so if they knew that, they knew how difficult it was, it would be less surprising why so many people came without authorization. So what's interesting to me is that Democrats overwhelmingly tend to support immigration reform for unauthorized immigrants. I was surprised to find that they were no more likely than Republicans to support reforms to legal immigration. And really, the debate should not just be on unauthorized immigration and how we deal with those who are currently in the country without authorization, but how to deal with future immigration, to make it easier to come to this country, to help businesses grow and thrive, and just have a saner immigration system. And that, people aren't getting behind that yet because we're not talking about it.